Hey brewers, I'm here today to talk about a really cool opportunity that I had. I entered the SJPorr challenge this year, which was the theme of it was Homebrew Master, and I didn't make it past the first round, but one of the really cool things is one of the sponsors that the challenge has is Omega Yeast Labs. And they were interested in having somebody do a video. So the organizers of the SJPorr challenge hooked me up with Omega Yeast Labs, and they sent me an awesome care package. They sent me 2 packets of yeast so I could do an experiment. They sent me this pretty cool shirt, and they sent me this deck of cards. The deck of cards got their logo on the back, but what's really cool is like every card is one of their different yeasts. So the 10 of spades is tropical IPA yeast. The 10 of diamonds is British ale. They're British Ale 1 yeast. The face cards are a little bit different. The Jack's got a microscope. The Queen's got barley. And the King is holding a bottle of beer, obviously. But the experiment that I did that they asked me to do was with the 10 of hearts, their Hothead Ale Yeast. Now, this yeast is pretty cool. It was derived from a Norwegian ale strain. But the reason it's called the Hothead Ale Yeast is it's got a huge fermentation temperature range. The temperature range listed on this card is 62 to 98 degrees Fahrenheit. That's crazy. I mean, in my experience, if a yeast ferments well at like mid-low 60s and you get it up even over 70, you start getting fusels and solvent and just all sorts of nasty off flavors. So this sounds like a challenge to me. So what I'm gonna do is make a 10-gallon batch of beer, split it between 2 carboys, and then ferment 1 carboy at ambient room temperature, which is about 68 degrees. Ferment the other carboy. I'm gonna build a hot box and see how close to that 98 degrees we can get it. So reach for the sky with your fermentation temperature. Okay, so given the challenge that Omega Yeast Labs laid out there, basically little to no flavor profile change over the huge range of fermentation temperature. What I did is I came up with a really simple beer recipe, which I will put in I'll have a link down below to a PDF. The main thing, since they're talking about fermentation temps, I want to ferment one of these really, really, really warm, and I want to ferment one kind of ambient normal temperature. So the room where I do my fermentation right now is about 68 degrees. So I'd like to at least get up over 80 degrees. And in order to do that, I built a hot box. So I had some scrap wood laying around and lots of plywood, a bunch of 2x4s and stuff like that. So just figured out the size of my largest fermenter and added a little space to be able to move fermenters in and out, and just built a simple box. I cut the plywood up, cut 2x4s for the top and the bottom to be able to attach the sides to, and then I took an Inkbird controller and set up where it could control more than one plugin, and I attached both a fermentation wrap, or a carboy heater, the thin plastic sheet that goes around the fermenter, and also a brew belt, which is a heated belt, and put both of those on the fermenter and plugged it up. Tried to see if we could get it up to 85 degrees, and let's see what happened. Just putting this carboy of Hothead Ale to bed. Got it in the box. The heater's going back here.
Good morning, brewers. It's about 6:15, so the yeast has been in the beer for about 8 hours. Gotta head out for a Taekwondo test today, but just gonna go check how the yeast is doing. So it's only up to 75, but that's all right. Ooh, and the ambient temperature one looks like it's getting going, so that's cool. And if we go in here, looks like it's up to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. So yeah, that's nice and warm. So
the temp controller is set to ferment at 85. It's 10 p.m. and I just pitched the yeast like a minute ago. So see what it looks like in the morning. I just made a couple adjustments to the heated box for the Hothead yeast. It had been going about 16 hours and it had only gotten up to like 76 degrees. So I added another towel on the back of this box to hopefully help insulate it because the corners don't seal up perfectly. And then I also, in addition to the carboy wrap that I have in the back of the box, I added a brew belt. As you can see, this one has a pretty good krausen going already, but in just the 3 or 4 minutes since I added that other towel and the brew belt, we increased the air temperature in the box by 3 degrees Fahrenheit already. So I'm hoping this will at least get it up around 80 air temperature in there. So that should be pretty cool. And then over here this is the ambient temperature batch. And it's like 68 degrees ambient in this room. So it's not, I mean, the box isn't that much warmer, but we're headed in the right direction. Just doing a quick check-in. It's now 8:30 a.m. on Sunday, so it's been about 34 hours since we pitched the yeast. You can see this one that's at 68 degrees, just ambient air temperature, is just going to town. Got a good krausen going, lots of airlock activity. And over here with the this hot fermenting box that I made, got it up almost to 85 degrees. 85 is my target, and I'm happy with where it's at right now. So let's see what it looks like. Ooh. Can tell the krausen is bubbling a lot more vigorously. In there, the bubbles are a lot bigger.
Looks like it actually is falling a little bit. But one of the things that I like so far about this yeast is the yeast doesn't seem to like blow up and build as large of a krausen. This seems to ferment almost as vigorously, but it doesn't have the same violent krausen that the SO4 seems to. So the air temp dropped a little bit, but I'm assuming that the temp of the wort is still up there because it's over the 82 degrees, which is the highest the thermometer that's on the hot fermenter goes. So really excited so far. Wednesday evening, so right almost 5 days post brew day. This is the beer that's been fermenting at ambient temperature, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can see, still got a good krausen going, still got lots of yeast activity. And then if we go over here, the hot fermentations sitting at about 85 degrees, which was my target temp. You can see that the krausen has completely dropped, and there's still a good amount of airlock activity, but I was kind of surprised how fast it fermented completely out. Wish I had a way to pull a quick sample and just see, what the gravity is right now.